From last few years, I have made a lot of electronics projects, and in most of them, I have used PCBs. In those videos, many people commented, is it really possible to build a professional quality PCBs at home? I also don't know, but let's see if you can do it or not. Some part of this video is sponsored by Altium Designer, which is the #1 software for PCB designing. For the last few months, I have been using this software, and what I feel is, this software offers pretty much everything that anyone needs to design any kind of PCBs. So feel free to try out their free trial. Link is given in the video description. As I have already visited PCB Wave before, so I knew what are the steps and materials they use to make a PCB. But I was not sure whether I could find those items in the retail market. But I managed to get them, some from online and some from offline shops. The first thing that we need in a PCB is layout. The layout is not the same that we usually send to the PCB manufacturer. This layout will be little bit different. We need to create a single layer PCB, and after creating that, we will export the 3 layers, which is tracing layer, solder mask and seal screen. After that, we need to invert the color of the tracing layer and solder mask layout and print those 3 layers on a tracing paper and cut the tracing layer first. After that, I took a single layered copper clad, which is also known as FR4 board, and aligned the printed layout with the copper clad and marked it outline. Then I used the backside of a knife to make a scratch on its surface, and after doing it several times, I just have to bend it and it will break along the line. In the next step, I have printed the tracing layout on the copper clad. For that, I am going to use dry film method, which is commonly used by PCB manufacturer, for which I will need a light sensitive film. But before using the film, we have to dim the environment and make rid of all the blue lights, because this film is blue or UV light sensitive. After I have dimmed the environment, I opened the film and cut it in required length. Then I used masking tape to peel up the protective layer. Like a sticker, this film has a self-adhesive side, which allowed us to stick it on the copper clad. After I have successfully attached the film, I took the inverted tracing layout and added few drops of oil to make it more transparent and placed it over the film. Then I placed a clear glass on it to keep the impression tightly on the copper plate. Now the copper plate is ready to get impression, so I kept it under halogen light. We can also use sunlight for this step. After 4 to 6 minutes, the PCB traces can be easily seen on the copper plate. Then I gently tried to remove the protective film, but it ripped off. So I have done this process all again, and this time it is a success. So now it's time to remove the unnecessary area. For that, I am going to use sodium carbonate, which I have to mix with water in 5% ratio. After making the solution, we have to put the copper clad into it and brush the top layer for about 2 to 5 minutes until the unexposed areas gets completely dissolved. Then I placed it under water to remove any amount of solution from the plate. After that, I inspected the PCB to see any line is broken or not. I had a little bit doubt, so I used my trusty Anderson microscope and saw a broken tracing line, and many traces are shorted due to the imperfections. To avoid unnecessary short circuit, I removed those deformed areas using a very sharp pen knife and fixed the broken line using a permanent marker. Since I am doing it manually, it took a lot of time to do all of this. And finally, this is what I came up with. Now it's time to etch the plate, for which I have used ferric chloride, which I have to mix with water to make a solution. Then I have placed the copper board into the solution and shaked it until the exposed copper areas fully dissolves. It usually takes 10 to 20 minutes. After it is done, I washed it with water. And used sodium hydroxide solution to remove the blue resist. And this process is very slow. We have to brush off the loosened blue resist time to time. Now our PCB is almost ready to function. But if you watch it closely, you can see the line that I added later using permanent marker has washed away. Along with it, another traces has also broken. That can be manually fixed, but I wanted to make one without any error. So I decided to make a bigger PCB with thick traces and more copper port distance to see if I have the same problem or not. And this time it came out perfectly. All the traces got properly edged, which was very satisfactory to watch. And this pumped me up and gave the confidence to try the previous one more time. And this time I increased the trace width and copper port distance and did those process all again. This time it looks perfect, but still one traces has broken during the etching time. After this, I lost all hopes for this congested PCB. So without trying again, I soldered the broken line using a soldering iron and sanded it to make the surface even. Technically our PCB is ready now. I made this yesterday, but if you carefully see it, the copper layer already started oxidizing. To prevent that, PCB manufacturer color code their PCBs, which is called solder mask, and we are going to do the same. For that, we will need a screen printing cloth, a frame, photosensitive emulsion, and a squeegee. First, I have attached the cloth with the frame using hot glue. Then once again, we have to dim the environment because the emulsion is light sensitive, and in order to use it, we have to mix the emulsion with small amount of sensitizer and stirred it properly to mix it. After that, I have poured it on the cloth and used a squeegee to spread it evenly on the both sides of the screen. Then I dried the screen with a hair dryer. After that, I have placed the printed tracing paper on the emulsified screen and placed a clear glass on the top to make the trace touch the screen to avoid blurry impression. Then I again used the 1000-watt halogen lamp for about 40 seconds. Within that time, the exposed area solidifies and the black portion remains soft. So I have taken it to the outside and washed it with garden hose. After some time, the soft areas rinsed away and the impression started to appear. After that, we dried the screen with the hair dryer, and now the screen is ready to use. So I have clamped the frame with the table and aligned the PCB carefully with the screen layout. Then I poured small amount of PCB ink on one end and spread it with squeegee onto the PCB. This is how it looks. The ink came out pretty thin, and there are also some areas which is not covered with ink. I have tried it few times, but same things happens again and again. So I did little bit of research and found this 120T or 305 mesh cloth is good for legend printing, and 6040 or 160 mesh cloth is good for seal screen. So I made another screen with 6040 cloth, and this time I used little thick ink, and it came out pretty good. After drying the ink, I applied white ink for legend printing. Then I have drilled holes for THT components and wires. And finally our PCB is done. It looks fine. But as our goal was to make a PCB like factory made PCB, so we'll compare it with this one, which I created for my tablet video and made it from PCBWay. At first look, DIY PCB looks attractive just for the color, but if you see it closely, there is night and day difference. First, the color is uneven in DIY PCB, whereas professional made PCB's color is even in every area. Even after trying many times, the seal screen was not perfect. Some of the pads are covered with ink, which can create problem while soldering. Also, the legend is not clear in DIY PCB. And the main disadvantage is it's a single layered PCB. That means you will have to have all the connections in one side, so its design will be very complicated. But in multi-layered PCB, traces can be made in front and back or even in middle layer. And making a double layered PCB at home is very painful, whereas companies like PCBWay offers up to 14 layered PCB, and that can be very helpful in complicated assembly circuit. Now the question is it worth it to make a PCB at home? Well, it depends. How often do you need to make a PCB? For 1 or 2 projects, it's very expensive because you have to buy many items, which will cost you more than $30. And the making process is very hectic, as you have already seen in the video. Whereas professional PCB manufacturers like PCBWay sells PCB as low as $5, and the build time is only 24 hours. In my opinion, it's better to buy one, so that I can spend my precious time on another project. But if you want to learn about the process, I will highly recommend you to build one. You will learn a lot. So that's it for now, and see you in my next one. Until then, bye bye.